So I just got back from watching Wicked for Good, and today I'm going to be giving like a first impressions type review. So I'm not sure if I'm going to make this into a fully fledged like longer review type like film essay. Um I just got to give it time to see how like my thoughts or like my feelings on the film progress and to see how good this video does. But this is sort of like a what I liked, what I didn't like, and also like I just got home from the theaters, so if this feels a little too like rambly or like I'm yapping a lot, that's because I don't have any notes. I didn't script anything. This is literally my first impressions of the film. So comment what you liked and didn't like down below, and without further ado, let's just start talking about the movie, right? So the first thing that just really grabbed me was the cinematography. You know, I think the color contrast between Elphaba and Glinda, it's not that it wasn't there in the first movie, but this, I think, really stood out. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen the first movie, but that wasn't really, like, a thought that was in my mind. But there were moments where, you know, they've had, like, you know, they were side by side, or they had like a side by side, split frame, or, you know, they'd be together, and you could really tell, like, yes, it's easy, but it looked really cool, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the pink and white versus the dark green and black. Like, man, I'm a sucker for some good, visual storytelling, you know, color in film. I mean, that's what the first Wizard of Oz is known for, the black and white to color transition. And it was, you know, it was wonderful. The songs, I think, to say that they were an improvement over the first, I'm not quite sure. I think the first had better songs overall, but I think that two songs, I think the best of the best is within two. Like, I think, what is it, No Good Deed, or the name of that song? I think that is the best song in both movies. I think Cynthia Erivo did, like, just completely, you know, just, she really sells it. That, you know, she sells it both vocally and, you know, physically with her acting. You know, she's completely blew me away in that, you know. And also Ariana Grande with the, For Good. Like, both of those songs, I would say, are vastly superior to anything else in the, soundtrack. And, you know, both of them, I'd have to rewatch it again to see, like, acting-wise, but, you know, they were both really impressive, as actors in the film. I think the characters of Elphaba and Glinda were really cool in this film to see, you know, them shift drastically into their roles as, you know, Glinda the Good and the Wicked Witch of the West. To see her, Elphaba, you know, try and do good, try and, you know, reveal the wizard, only to reach her breaking point, and then finally accept that she is the Wicked Witch, only to, you know, realize that that would be a painful life too, and then, you know, die, except not really. We'll get to that. And then Glinda with her, you know, always wanting to be the popular girl and the person with social status, only to realize that that comes with a lot of, responsibilities and a lot of, you know, manipulation and not good stuff. That was really interesting. And not to say that the first movie didn't have, you know, darker or more like advanced storytelling, but like this felt heavy, for lack of a better term. All the other actors were, you know, all the side characters I thought were really cool. You know, I think Jeff Goldblum stole the show in every scene he was in. I mean, maybe I'm just a sucker for Jeff Goldblum, but I just And I know you're not supposed to like the wizard, but I just, it's Jeff Goldblum. What can you say? Um, Something I am not a fan of is Elphaba surviving at the end. And I know. Oh, well, that's kind of the whole point. It was in the show, so you can't really change it, but I don't like it. I think it kind of takes away from the emotional toll of the, like, we have all this build up. We have the giant musical number with Elphaba and Glinda. We have them, trying to, we have them confessing their love, whether platonic, romantic, whatever you want to interpret it, whatever. Then we have Dorothy killing her. I think it would have been cool if Dorothy actually did kill her. And then we have to see these characters try and uphold their versions of what Glinda is, their versions of what Elphaba is to them, and we sort of get that with Glinda, but what would Fiyero have done had he not have gone with her? Like what does Bach do? There are so many routes or so many characters I feel like you could have explored with that route, but now it's just like, oh well, she's dead. She's not dead. She's just she was in a trap door the whole time, but nobody knows nobody knows she's alive except Fiyero, who went with her. So it's basically the same thing, but no. It just kind of felt like, they were setting up for an emotional payoff and then swept the rug out from under us. And, that was kind of, yeah. That also just makes it feel a little cheap watching Wizard of Oz. Because, I like the Wicked movies, but also I want to watch them in the same sense when I'm watching Wizard of Oz. I get you can't really do that, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just being overly cynical at this point. Also, speaking of being overly cynical, why do all the guards have ranged guns? They all have ranged weapons. They don't use them. The film would have been over in, the first scene, if the guards had just used their rifles. They point them, they don't use them. It's oh yeah, water boils the witch. Yeah, how about a gun? Yeah, water will melt the witch. You know what else will melt the witch? A bullet to the skull. I'm just being nitpicky at this point, and I suppose it's a little bit of a childish. It's a child's film. It's PG, so I feel like it would have been a little graphic to see the Wicked Witch get popped, but whew. What's the other witch's name? Madame Mabel? Madame Morble? The other witch. Her character was ass, I'm not gonna lie. She's the only other magic character in the entirety of Oz, I think. Unless I'm missing something. But she doesn't really do anything. It's her whole character is just, oh, the witch, the witch, the witch. It's the Wicked Witch, the Wicked Witch, the Wicked Witch. And yes, you could tell me that, oh, she's there to watch over Glinda and, manipulate her and keep her under, the hand of the wizard. But, the wizard could do that. It's I feel like, especially after building her up in the first movie, I feel like they just kind of didn't know what to do with her. And also, I know people are going to say, oh, it's not a movie thing, it's a show too. It's well, okay, these are just problems with the story in general. I feel like it just felt Yeah, that's the narrative term for it. It felt underwhelming. I also feel like the animal storyline kind of felt underwhelming. Um, like that's sort of, Elphaba's whole point in like the first film, to like or for why she wants to go see the wizard. Um, and then in the second movie, it's like it shows up every now and then. She has a whole musical like number for the animals. It's like, like no, don't leave home. We gotta fight. Um, but like the monkeys matter. But like it's like every now and then I'll be like, oh yeah, remember the animals? What do you mean no? Um, and I feel like that's something that was just sort of shoehorned in because it was in part one. Maybe I just interpreted it a wrong way, but I don't know. Uh, I like how it was a lot more grim, a lot, more adulty, I suppose. Since we figured out about the wizard's lies, it feels a lot realer. Realer? I don't know. Feels a lot, we see the world with the rose tinted glasses off, Unless we're in, Glinda's room or something, then everything is, prissy pink perfect. Which I think is, again, pretty cool visual storytelling. But, I like the tone and I like the cinematography. Those are the two things that I really enjoyed. But, other than that, nothing is really coming to my mind right now. I would probably have to give this film maybe like a 7 out of 10. Yeah, I was going to go 6.5, but no, that's too harsh. I'd probably go 7 out of 10. Again, I'll probably have to give it more time to, see how it resonates with me. But, I liked it. But I probably liked part 1 better. Well, I liked part 1 for its story more. Yeah. Yeah. But, sorry if you can hear my dog barking. He's chiming in, he's more of a, he's more of a part 1 guy, so he heard me talk about part 1, so, But, anyway, part 2, I'd give a 7 out of 10. Let me know what you think about, Wicked Part 2 for good. Well, yeah. Why did they call it Part 2? Why didn't they just call it, like, Wicked Part 2 or something? Wicked Part 2 for good. Because it's Wicked Part 1, and then Wicked for good. I don't know. That's weird. Anyway, if you enjoyed this little, 13-minute review, just, like the video and let me know what you thought of Wicked. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell and whatever. And, I'll see you later.